Hey everyone, this is Art from Church the Big Ring, and this is my first Periscope broadcast, so welcome. So we're going to talk a little bit today about my rig for the upcoming Crusher in the Tushar. This is a race held in Beaver, Utah every year in July. It's got 10,000 feet of climbing. It's 80 miles long, 40 of it on dirt, 40 of it on pavement. It's really really hard race, but it's super fun and it's kind of unique. So anyway, this is the bike that I'll be running. Sorry, I guess we're kind of backlit here. Let me spin this around. There we go. There's Kira in the background, one of my labs, and let me get them standing in the sun. So anyway, so quickly go over the rig here. So I am not a disc brake guy yet, so I'm using the TRP Mini Vs. I find these work extremely well. I like the modulation of them. They're super easy to adjust. They work great for cyclocross as well. So that's what I'm using until I make the jump, if I make the jump to disc brakes. Tire-wise, I'm going with the Clement Explorer Plush. It's a 35C tire. You can see it's got a nice center ridge. It's not super aggressive, doesn't have big sidewalls. A lot of people freak out about the Tushar and the downhill, but the reality is the downhill part of it is, 7 to 9 minutes of a 5-hour race. So I'm willing to give up a little bit of control for that, just for the better rolling resistance. Drivetrain wise, I am running still 10 speed, haven't made the jump to 11 either. I guess you're kind of seeing a theme here. I'm kind of old school. So I'm running an 1136 on the rear with a Shimano X9, or SRAM X9 rear derailleur. The clutch is really important on these in a race like the Tushar because it is pretty rough. So the clutch really helps a lot, especially if you're running a single, which brings us to the front. So yes, I am going to do a single this year. I looked at my Strava from last year, and last year I ran my lowest gear was a 38, 36, and I had a hard time staying on top of that gear, honestly, on the Col de Crush. So this year I'm going with a 34 tooth wolf tooth. So this is one of the new Chainring setup for single. It's got the offset teeth so it doesn't bounce off, it stays on there. I'm running a QUARQ Powermeter here. 177.5 is the length on that. I really like using power in a race like the Crusher because it is such a steady state race. You're kind of just climbing all day long pretty much. It's a five-ish hour race. Took me 5:16 last year. And really, about 4.5 hours of it is climbing. There's a section through Circleville, which is on the road, and I might be a little under geared with a 34.11, but looking at Strava last year, I averaged about 24 miles an hour, and that's where I spin out with a 34.11 is about 25 miles an hour. But there's a lot of fast downhill pavement sections where you're not really pedaling anyway. And on the flat pedaling sections, looking at Strava last year, I was doing about 20 miles an hour most of the time. So I might be a little undergeared in some of the areas, but that could help me in the long run because pacing at the Crusher is really important. You don't want to blow your wad too early because there's a lot of climbing. Last year I went pretty conservative through Circleville and was really fresh going through the Sarlacc pit, which is the first kind of nasty climb. It's really hot and dusty and exposed, and it's not super steep, but it's just really loose, and it's kind of sucks your will to live, really. But I felt really good there. Frame-wise, I guess we haven't talked about the frame. Santa Cruz Stigmata. This is a few years old. I've been racing this for a lot of seasons now in cyclocross, but I really like it. I don't know, I'm kind of twisting my camera around here. I don't know how this works on on Periscope. But anyway, it's been a really good frame for me, geometry-wise. It's great. I've got an Easton EC90X fork on there. It's an all-carbon fork, so just smooth the ride out a little bit. Wheels, I'm using an old set of Ksyrium SLs. Again, with those Clement Explorer tires, front and rear. Shifting, got SRAM 11-speed. No front shifter. I mean, I have the front shifter on there, but it's not connected. And for my computer, it's not on there, but I use a Garmin head that gives me my power, heart rate, and everything. So anyway, that's what I'm running at the Crusher this year. I'd like to, hear what you guys are running, see what your experiences are for the people that do it. If you don't know what the Crusher is, just Google Crusher and the Tushar. It's a pretty sick race, definitely a bucket list type of race. So anyway, hope you're all having a great day and have a good one. Later.